Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to the very exciting grand opening ceremony for our Brainerd High School Aquatic Center. I'd like to, at this time, introduce a few members who are here today, special guests. And if you could please stand, I'd like to introduce our members of the school board that are here. So, thank you for being here to our Brainerd Public Schools Board of Education members, Ruth Nelson, Tom Hagelin, Janice Sjogren, Sarah Spear, Charles Blacklance, and Kevin Boyles. We appreciate your leadership at a time that's really exciting during these opening ceremonies, so thank you. Thank you to our community for coming today to help us celebrate. I see familiar faces, coaches, swim parents, of course our swimmers are here, staff. This aquatic center is very symbolic in our construction projects. This aquatic center was supported by our community and for our community. When I first came to BHS in 2005, we had morning lap swim, we had physical education classes, we had special education classes that swam during the school day. We had our swim team, boys and girls swim team, practice after school. We had our dolphin swim team practice after that. In the evenings, we had community education classes, water aerobics, and on weekends, we many times had rentals of dolphin swim tournaments, and then we also had those that were learning how to scuba dive, and those who were also training for triathlons. So truly, our pool is used 7 days a week, 12 months a year. So I want to thank our community for voting for this and supporting this beautiful facility that really will be used by not only the Brainerd High School students, but various members of our community. At this time, I would like to introduce Senior Ben Karlgaard and ask you all to rise, and he's going to lead us in the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
As part of our grand opening ceremony, we've invited a number of speakers that are closely connected to this new facility. At this time, I'd like to introduce Board Chair Ruth Nelson to address you.
Good evening, everyone. So good to see this great turnout, and this is the first time I've seen the pool with water in it, so it's really exciting. It's beautiful. This center has been a long time coming. Since I began on the board, which it's been 17 years, a long time, we have heard from our coaches, our swimmers, our families, how we needed a new pool. We needed a regulation 8-lane pool so we could have competitions here. And it took a long time, but we're here, and I think the wait is well worth it. I don't think we could have done it without the community and the community coming and voting for our bond referendums, and the huge support from all the Vote Yes committee and the people that voted yes, so thank you for that. Also, I think there's a few teachers here, and it is Teacher Appreciation Day, so I'd just like to take a brief moment and thank all of our teachers and our coaches and our staff for working through tough times. It's been a challenging few years, especially here at the high school. This high school has been under construction for all of the 3 to 4 years of our construction projects. Finally, I would like to specifically thank the ICS crew, and I don't know if Scott Whittemore is here tonight. He was the one that managed this project, and he has shared with many of us how uniquely challenging this project was. To dig, I can't even remember how deep this hole was to do this pool, but to dig a deep hole between a couple of schools and some roads, it was a very uniquely challenging project. In closing, Mr. Zemke, Mr. Anderson, and staff, enjoy this pool. You can't retire now. And thank you for our dedication to our athletes. And next up is Dave Beddoe, Mayor of the City of Brainerd. Is he here? What's that? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Reed T.C. our Buildings and Ground Manager, will speak next.
Good afternoon, everybody. If you have a program in front of you, you can tell I'm not Matt Killian, but I will share a little bit of my story as well through the process of building this pool. Chair Nelson, thank you. I'm the Director of Buildings and Grounds for Brainerd Public Schools, and that's a kind of a long title, but what it means is myself and a team of custodians and maintenance staff have the privilege of taking care of all of these wonderful facilities. Along with maintenance, I get to be the day-to-day liaison between our design teams, the consultants, construction crews, and school administrators as we construct these amazing new facilities. So on paper, a project like this Aquatic Center might seem like a really easy task. It's just a drawing on a sheet of paper. But what those of you that aren't intimately familiar with this project don't know is that it took an enormous amount of planning to pull off. You see the Brainerd High School site is surrounded, as Chair Nelson said, by physical barriers on all sides. We have the library to the north. To the east, we have 5th Street. To the south, we have our new Lincoln Education Center. And to the west, we have this really big hill that makes things really extremely difficult to build. So the question is, how do we pull it off? I guess in no particular order, we broke it down into 3 phases. We took down parts of the school to get into the courtyard, by the way, which we needed a huge tank bridge to get into to cross our tunnels. We used a boring machine to put in a 36-inch storm sewer. We've driven sheet piling along our buildings to dig down over 30 feet deep to excavate this pool facility. And we've brought in massive drivable cranes. We've built temporary walls, temporary ramps, and entrances, and we've asked our students to navigate through all this for the past 3 years. So to all the students that are here, I want to say thank you for putting up with all of the construction. We do this, we're doing this all for you and the next generations of kids that walk through these doors. Superintendent Larson said to me once when I got here that we are a school district, not a district of schools, and the same thing can be said about our design and construction teams. None of this would be possible without a great team, so I'm just going to take a quick minute and try to personally recognize everybody that has contributed to this project. I'm going to give you a disclaimer here. If I listed everybody, we'd be here for about an hour. So just quickly with the design team and our government relations teams, ICS, thank you. I see we have Dave Bergeron, who's going to speak after me, Damian Williams, Mark Needham, Scott Whittemore, Nick Rudnitsky up there, and our whole ICS team. Can you guys please stand and wave your hands here a little bit for us? Thank you. Our architecture, civil engineering, landscape, and interior design teams from Widseth, Kevin Dene and Tim Ramerth, I see you up there, Erica Markison, Mike Anglin, Lindsay Krenz, Brady Busler. Thank you to everybody from Widseth for all of your services. And wave your hands for us, please. Thank you, guys and gals. To CMTA, who did the mechanical and electrical engineering. I don't know if anybody's up there from there, but Tony Johnson, Ken McCleary, Joel Peck, Eric Reinitz, and many others, thank you to you all. And on the aquatic engineering side, we have Tom Schaefer, who will speak in a minute here. Tom and his team performed the aquatic engineering and design, so thank you, Tom, for designing such a beautiful facility. To MBJ for structural engineering, to David Peterson for the audio in this building, and to the City of Brainerd, who has been a fantastic government partner with us at the school district here, to Mayor Badeau, Jennifer Bergman, all the city council members, Paul Sandy, David Chansky, Tim Holmes, David Cox, and Scott Sadusky. Thank you for working with us through a 3-year-long project. To our construction teams, if you would please, again, wave your hand and be recognized in alphabetical order. Anderson Brothers for your excavation on this facility. I know, Keith, it wasn't easy. Thank you very much for all of your guys' efforts. Thanks, Keith. Aqualogic for the pool construction, to Ryan Johnson and his team, thank you. Holden Electric, to Micah Toffness, Rick Osbach, and Tim Heinrichs and their team, thank you. High Tech Construction, who performed the general construction here, so Brenda Bray and Tony Bieser, thank you all up there for all of your work on this project. LVC Companies for the fire suppression, MCI for the tile work in our facilities, Rice Lake for all the concrete work around here, which there's a lot of it. Thielen Heating and Roofing, thank you to your team. VSI for the audio video install, and Wells Concrete for all the precast building systems. I'm sure I've missed someone along the line, and I'm sure there's somebody up in the crowd that maybe I didn't call out specifically. I just want to say thank you to all the work that you did to make this facility such a beautiful place. And in closing, Principal Rusk and Jack as Activities Director, swim coaches, BHS staff, and students, I hope you really enjoy the new facility. It's really something special. Thank you. Next to speak, Dave Bergeron.
Thanks, Reed. You know, it's been a long time coming that we can say, geez, it's a little too warm. Holy smokes. But good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dave Bergeron. I'm one of the managing partners for ICS. And welcome to this historic event to dedicate this beautiful aquatic facility. Over the past 6 years, ICS has had the distinct privilege of working in partnership with Brainerd Public Schools to help design and oversee the construction of this beautiful facility, but all of the improvement projects across the district as part of the Blueprint 181 plan. It's dedication ceremonies kind of like this, where we get to publicly say thank you to folks who have just worked so hard to make all of this dream into a reality. And Reed stole my punch a little bit, but that's okay. I want to start with a huge thank you to the staff at ISD 181 who were intimately involved in this project. And I want to call out Andrea. Andrea was completely the best partner we could have in helping to make this a beautiful spot. Mr. Freeman, Jack came in mid-project and was kind of like drinking out of a fire hose for a while to kind of get caught up, but really jumped in and was a big part of the team. And I do also want to, I see Charlie Campbell up in the audience, and Charlie was also very instrumental in the early part of this and helping to guide the design teams as we move forward. Marcy Laurie, the business director, I like to say Marcy just keeps the lid on from the financial perspective of not just the overall project, but the district as a whole. And then Reed, who was up here earlier, Reed came in a little bit after the project started, but completely jumped in and really became almost our day-to-day person and helped make this what it is today as well. And then, of course, Lane Larson, who had the vision of this to start, and then also gave endless hours for this to become what it is. And so thank you to all of you folks. And for those out there, I don't know if you know, most of these folks end up taking a second job to do this, right? There is so much time and energy that has to go into the design and the implementation of this. So thank you folks for that. And we have had great design partners. And Rita talked about WIDSEF. This is what their vision was of this. So I want to thank WIDSEF and their team, as well as CMTA for the mechanical and electrical side of it. And again, big thank you to all of the contractors out there. As Reed said, there's hundreds of contractors that work on these projects, and they really do take pride. And the majority of those are within a pretty short distance of Brainerd, Baxter, or Nisswa. So a lot of pride went into this facility as well as all of the other projects. And our own ICS team, who was here almost daily to make sure that all of what the district was envisioning is what came to fruition. So thank you guys. So lastly, a big thank you to the Brainerd School Board members, past and present. And I see a couple board members in the audience that are not currently on the board, and thank you. I'll thank you for the vision, for the determination, for the commitment that it took to make this vision a reality. And it's not easy, but what you have here and across the district is going to benefit kids from the Brainerd School District for decades to come. So thank you very much. Thank all of you for coming, and enjoy the event. So I think Mr. Thomas Rule is going to come up to visit. Thomas? Are you jumping in? Okay.
Good evening, everybody. I'm sorry for my raggedy appearance. I just got out of practice, but I'm going to keep this nice and short and sweet. And I just wanted to thank everybody who contributed to the building of this beautiful facility. Brainerd was falling behind as a pool for a little while, and then people are going to start to actually love coming to our meets now that we have this beautiful facility. And it's just such an immense upgrade from the old fishbowl that we used to have. So I really appreciate everybody that contributed to this project and the funding of this facility, and people are going to enjoy, especially the future swimmers sitting on the opposite wall from us, they're going to enjoy this facility for years and years to come. So thank you again, and good night.
Welcome, swim dive teammates, friends, family, fans, and community. For those that don't know me, my name is Grace Hagelin, and I was a senior captain on this year's amazing girls swim and dive team. Being able to lead and hopefully inspire such an amazing and hardworking group of girls is truly an experience that will live with me forever, and I'm so grateful that all of my younger teammates will also be able to do so in such a wonderful new facility. I wish I could say more about how excited I am to swim and compete in this pool. However, I am sadly going away to college. But I will indeed be returning to watch my girls' home meets in the amazing seating section. And don't count out summer's training, that I am indeed excited for. I cannot describe how much this pool means to these girls and me, but I can try. For the divers, it means their own space and time for their practice. For the younger girls, a place to grow in their high school years. And for all of us, a place to compete where every team wants to come, and most importantly, a new home. Title IX was signed almost exactly 50 years ago, and while we see more girls in school sports, it is still difficult for women to play sports at the professional level. I believe that with access to a facility like this, we will see more of our own swimmers making it to that level of sport. So for that, I want to thank everyone involved in making this vision come to reality. You know who you are. Thank you.
Great job, Thomas and Grace. My name's Jack Freeman. I'm the new activities director. I always tell people I'm the new Charlie, just not as well-dressed or well-spoken, and he's here to prove that tonight. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us as we celebrate all the people that made this space a reality. To our Warrior community, thank you for saying yes to this space. Thank you for your investment in our community, school district, programming, and most importantly, our kids. It has been such a joy to see the reaction people have when they first get to see this space for the first time. Their eyes always get big when they enter the facility, and the first word out of their mouth is almost always, wow. Brainerd Swimming and Diving has such a strong tradition and history. This facility is sure to add to that incredible story. It'll be the new measuring stick for high school aquatic centers across the state of Minnesota, and Brainerd is sure to be a coveted destination for championship meets due to this unbelievable facility, a facility we can all be proud of. One of the many highlights of my job is getting to work with our incredible coaches in the Warrior Athletic Department. Two of our finest coaches are Coach Anderson and Coach Zemke, who, by the way, was recently named the AA Swimming and Diving Coach of the Year for the state of Minnesota. How about a round of applause for Coach Zemke? I can't think of better people to have in front of our kids in these important roles. And if you like what they've done with 6 lanes, wait till you see what they can do with 8 lanes in a diving well. No pressure, guys. I have memories from when I was a kid, coming over to the old high school pool for community ed swimming. I remember diving for bricks in the deep end, jumping off the diving boards, which at the time seemed like they were 10-meter platforms. And I remember thinking how big and incredible that pool was. I can't wait to see the kids in our community make their own lifelong memories in this state-of-the-art aquatic center. What an exciting time to be a Warrior. Thank you. Next up, it's my privilege to welcome Tom Schaefer, President and Aquatics Consultant at US Aquatics.
I think I want to start by saying what an honor and somewhat humbling to be the one to represent the design team for this fabulous facility. Uniqueness in this facility really started from the beginning and from the design and from that design team. There's really kind of 3 aspects of the design team. Of course, you had the architects, engineers, and specialty consultants. Also working with us on the team were the project managers, cost consultants, and those specialty contractors that were involved. But the big part of the team, of course, was the community, as represented by the Aquatics Committee, which was a very good cross-section of the greater Brainerd area community. And they worked very diligently and very hard at making sure that this facility did meet all of the goals, all the considerations for design that were indicated during that process. So early on in the design phase was establishing some guiding principles, and the 2 that really I call to mind more often than anything else was the focus on community and to be inclusive. And that was very good guiding principles that were used during this design process. The other thing was that when you go through this design process, it kind of broke down into 3 different categories. You had all starting with C's, the 3 C's. You had the competitive side of it, so both the training and the competition, which this facility will do very well at. The other C you had was curriculum, so that the student body can use this, and especially for Phi-Ed and Learn to Swim programs and that nature. But the third one is the community itself. So it was family use, aquatic exercising, drowning prevention, instructor training. So those were all things that we had to integrate into this facility during that design process. The design team went and visited many other facilities to gain some experience of what to do and what not to do. Talked to a lot of other facilities and what worked for them, what didn't, what fit their program. and things to add to their program. So it was a very, very good work session to go through that. The other thing that the team was strong on is engaging with the stakeholders and community through workshops, public engagement meetings, to make sure that we got all the input we could from the community during that design process. So all of those things entered into to determine how many bodies of water, the shape, the size, the water depths, so that we could accommodate all 3 C's and get all of those program elements within this facility, including that spectator area, so that we have a good vision of the competition, and which will become parallel with all of the program elements was other design considerations, including what pool finish, structure, the operating systems, and the amenities that support those programs. So in these guiding principles for this side of the equation, one of the guiding principles are driven by clean air, clean water, energy savings, and cost savings to make this facility as most sustainable as possible. And those were all accomplished through the work together of the team and best practices by the professionals and the management team. So, for instance, we've got enhanced air quality in here with how not only we treat the air, but how we move the air through the facility to actually evacuate air off of the surface where the swimmers are. 2, we have enhanced disinfection. We're not just using chlorine, but we're using ultraviolet light, as the sun does in nature, to disinfect the water. And we have very superior filtration on this facility that does actually use 1/50th of the amount of water to clean this new filtration system as compared to comparable filter systems. So you do have a very unique system in terms of use, in terms of operation, in terms of its sustainability as well. So we're proud as a design team. We're here to thank you, the community, for letting us be a part of a new era in aquatics for Brainerd School District, and a new era in aquatic warriors. So thank you. I think next we got Willie Severson.
He's my favorite daughter-in-law. Hi, I'm Willie Severson, and I had the privilege of being the head girls swimming coach here in Brainerd for 9 years, and the head boys coach for 12 years from a period of time roughly 1975 to 1988. Prior to that, I had coaching assignments in Bloomington, Mounds View, Stillwater, and Litchfield. And before that, I swam competitively for 4 years in college and 4 years in high school. My point is, I think I've been in every swimming pool in the state of Minnesota, from Mankato all the way to Thief River Falls. This place is absolutely jaw-dropping, incredible. In my opinion, it's second only to the University of Minnesota Aquatic Center. I'm excited about what this is going to do for our programs, not just our swimming teams. I'm really excited to hear how it's going to be jumping 7 days a week. Thank you, Andrea. And I'm really excited for the experience that our kids are going to get from being in this marvelous facility. No more will we have to worry about our divers timing their dives so that they don't hit swimmers. No more will we have to rope off half the pool, for safety reasons. The potential here is incredible. And I'm really excited that we can finally host championship level meets. We'll bring in teams from all over the state. This will be a destination where they'll really want to come to. So I'm also grateful to several groups that probably haven't been mentioned too much yet. We had a facilities planning committee that consisted of almost 30 people and many of them were citizens from the community, not tied with the school district, that studied all of our buildings for over 3 years and made recommendations to the school board as what needed to be done. I'm very grateful for our school board. Our school board took those recommendations and moved them forward in a referendum, and referendums are never popular. Who wants their taxes raised? But they had the courage to do it, and I'm grateful for all the people that said yes to make this happen. And I'm really grateful to our superintendent, who made sure that this project went through to completion without shortcuts or budget cuts. And this place is going to be the place for swimming, high school swimming in the state of Minnesota. So thank you to everyone. I'm speechless, so good time to stop. Just Dan Anderson, I haven't coached in quite a while. Dan Anderson, our girls coach, every year asks me to come back and help out with the girls team. And I think, Dan, I might take you up on that. Be careful what you ask for. Thank you.
Good evening, and it is just a wow moment to come in here and see this. I've been here since 1993. I never ever thought that this would happen, where we would have this type of facility. Thank you to the school board members, both present and the ones that were on the board when this was passed. Most importantly, thank you to the voters of ISD 181 who voted yes to bring something like this to north central Minnesota. It is truly a gem. Like Mr. Severson said, well, I'll call him Willie because that's what we call him. This, outside of the University of Minnesota, this is the place. I've showed so many different coaches pictures and visits of what it is like in here. And to finally have this as a place that I get to come into in the winter, because in the winter it's nice to be in here, and where it's warm, and to be involved with everything here. Thank you to the community. Special thank you to Larson for everything that's gone on with getting this through. But most importantly, as I look up in the stands, I see so many past people that have been involved in the swimming program 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and also today. So to all of you, thank you. I had about 30 minutes planned, but after some of the other speeches, I thought I would make it a little bit shorter for the rest of the evening. So next up, Coach Dan Anderson, who is the girls' coach. Thank you very much.
Well, I promise to make this short. Again, it's so awesome to see so many, the swimming family up there. I recognize so many of you. I had some of your daughters on the team 25 years ago. It's awesome to see you here. When I look at this pool, what I see is opportunity. I just see, I remember a year, I don't know, 20 years ago, we had 66 girls on the high school swim team. 66 girls in 6 lanes. And we didn't cut anybody, but it was a nightmare, I'll tell you what. And I see opportunity. We could have 66 girls now. We could do it. And we could have 99, whatever. We'll take whatever we can get. I see opportunities for, every little kid in this town someday could be on the swim team. They'd have access to an awesome pool. I can see what Mary, our diving coach, can do with that. She's going to do amazing things with those 2 boards. Again, thank you, especially Lane. You were in our corner 100% on this, and things were not, she said that will not get caught. We will have a new pool, and I appreciate your dedication to that. And every one of these swimmers out here, and again, appreciate the taxpayers, and it's good to see you all. Come on down afterwards. Be fun to talk. Thank you.
I guess we haven't had to sit for too long yet. My name is Aaron Anderson. I'm the adaptive physical education teacher here at Brainerd High School. And I too want to thank the community and everybody involved that gave us this gift. That's kind of how I look at it a little bit. Tell you a quick little story. I brought both of my adaptive classes into the pool to see it before we would come in and use it. And much like maybe many of you might remember stepping into the Metrodome or the US Bank Stadium your first time. They felt overwhelmed. They had a sense of awe, a sense of coolness. But better than that, I think they realized that they're really going to be a part of this. They can really feel this. And that was really cool to hear them talk and see that in their eyes and knowing that they're going to get to use this on a regular basis. This is part of their school, too. An adaptive this facility will allow students and staff to function much better. You hear people talk about the facility, but the locker rooms, I think we're all on the same level. Before we were up and down stairs, now we come out of the locker rooms. We're on the pool level. The changing space is much better. There's much better privacy, and we're able to help the kids that need assisted changing much better. You've all noticed the ramp and the stairs provide easy access for all. Also saves time. If you remember in the old pool, we had a big set of stairs sitting there. Well, every time we had class in the pool, we'd have to put the stairs in and then have to lug them back out. So this is wonderful. We can take a student in a wheelchair and bring them right down the ramp in a waterproof wheelchair, and it works out wonderful. The consistent depth of the bigger pool allows kids more of a sense of freedom. They can move through a bigger part of the pool. This helps them build confidence. All that stuff happens with these adaptive kids or kids that need a little more. I'm just hoping that in this pool we can turn the water temp up just a little bit more. It gets a little chilly. And I don't know if everybody knows this either, but we also participate in many Special Olympic Games. We will use this facility during our day to train for the Swimming Olympics that are typically hosted in Little Falls, but who knows? Maybe sometime soon they'll be right here in Brainerd. And I'm also hopeful that this new, more accessible pool will help our at-large adult special needs community be more involved in aquatic activity as well. So thank you very much.
Hi, Steve Keepers. I have 4 boys right now in the swimming program, come through the Y. I see a lot of parents in the crowd that probably sat next to us, seeing how crazy we get about it as a family. A week ago, Zemke called me up and he asked me if I'd participate in this ceremony, and I said yes, and then I went home and I sat down with the 4 boys, and I asked them, I said, I got a question for you guys. Said Zemke told me I can either give a speech or I can put on a Speedo and do a 50-yard sprint. The youngest one up there, he said go for the sprint. My twins that are at Forest View, they were mortifiably embarrassed at the sheer idea of it. They didn't want to see their dad in a Speedo with a bunch of people that they knew that would know me. The oldest one, he asked me, he said, what's the catch? And I said, Zemke said, whatever I decide to do, I got to do it in 2 minutes. And he said, I hope you write a good speech. As a family, everybody's talked about how the community as a family got together and really put this whole project together, and it's been going on for, like they said, the facilities, programming, and everything else that happened in this district started years ago. I wanted to shout out to all the parents, especially the parents that have kids that have already gone through the program, that aren't going to have a chance to swim in this pool. There's so many of you guys, whether it was just last year, whether it was 5 years ago, whether it was 10 years ago. There's people sitting over here that I know have had kids come through the program. everybody was so supportive of it. And it was so easy to say, well, my kid's already gone through the program, we don't need it. That wasn't the case. Everybody got behind it. So I want to thank all of you guys that this might be the closest you get to seeing the pool. As far as from a perspective of a parent that has kids in the program, on behalf of all of us, I want to say thank you to everybody up here. For, as everybody's discussed, this thing was done right. From the size of the pool to the deck to the bleachers to the scoreboard, you name it. I mean, Brainerd now has finally the opportunity to have the championship meets that they've always talked about. So with that, I want to say thank you to all of you guys, and from the powerhouse programs of the girls teams to the record-setting programs of the boys teams, we now have a first-class facility to match the programs. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm just a little shorter than Steve. Thanks for being here tonight. This has truly been a long time coming, as many people have alluded to. My first entry into the school district is having 2 kids in the school district, one who's about to graduate. And then a few years ago, I was asked to be a part of the facilities planning committee that Willie referred to, and I see Mike and Jessica and Kevin and probably many others that participated in that as well. And all the passion and excitement that people had for all the different opportunities that we could make for our students, and ISD 181 came through loud and clear, and the need for this pool came through loud and clear. So it's really exciting to fast forward and be sitting here today. I was asked to speak on behalf of Sarah Spear and myself. The next involvement that I had was as a chair of the Vote Yes committee to get the yes vote out. And so Sarah and I stepped up to the plate. It was a little bit of a daunting task when they said, well, we'd like you to lead the phone bank and call people and talk about voting yes. So as daunting as it felt, it quickly came together and it was amazing. We had nearly 100 different people, and I'm looking at some of you now, say, yes, I will show up on an evening, I will give my time, and I will call people and share the news about this referendum with them. We had community members, we had parents, we had teachers, staff, administrators. It was really a heavy lift from a lot of different people who were willing to come and give their time and just tell people in our community what would be possible if they would be willing to go and vote yes for our kids and yes for Blueprint 181. The calls were easy to make on one hand because we felt strongly about creating the opportunities for our students in our district, and we truly believed the project would benefit the community as a whole. However, as you can imagine, the idea of cold calling people was a bit intimidating to some folks. So we got our talking points together and we focused on the positive and on finding the supporters and helping them realize that it's important to get out and vote yes, yes, yes on that day. We certainly talked to some people who were opposed or who are on the fence, but I can say overwhelmingly that even those folks were respectful and they engaged in thoughtful dialogue with us and asked questions about the process. Ultimately, over 1,500 phone calls were made on those evenings back in March and April of 2018. A lot of pizza was eaten, a lot of chocolate, but in all seriousness, that effort was completely worth it. When combined with 100 community presentations and many other efforts, our incredible community voted yes, yes, and yes again on April 10th in 2018, and then it was off to the races with this project. So we're standing here in just one of the incredible examples of our building projects, and we see what's possible when our community steps up and says yes to our kids and rallies around our students. I really believe we're stronger as a community for having been through these projects and investing in our children, and I want to thank you for voting yes for our kids and for not only supporting this grand vision, but seeing it all the way through and also supporting our students. So thank you. And now it's my privilege to introduce Superintendent Larson.
Good afternoon. It's an honor to be here at this official grand opening and ribbon-cutting ceremony for the Brainerd Public Schools Aquatic Center. I can't believe this day is finally here. I feel extremely fortunate to have the opportunity to thank all of our constituents for being here and for supporting this effort, and to give the warmest congratulations to our athletes, our coaches, our administration, and our entire community, and to the thousands of people that contribute to make completion of this aquatic center a reality. May 4th, 2022 will forever be in the history books for Brainerd Public Schools, and in particular, the swimming and diving programs at Brainerd High School. The BHS Aquatic Center grand opening marks a significant milestone completion in the Blueprint 181 referendum, which was voter approved on April 10th, 2018, and the groundbreaking for this beautiful facility was September 6th of 2019. During the entire referendum process, we got all kinds of advice and suggestions from Lane, we really need a new superintendent, to, hey, we need 8 lanes and make sure that it's ADA compliant, and we need a separate diving well, to, could you make sure that 500 people can sit in the swimming pool and watch these exciting events, to, could you please make sure we don't have a glass window in front of us so that we can actually see the swimmers swim. We had to put a little glass there just for nostalgia purposes. We also heard things like, our old squirt clock won't work with the new system. And could you do it a little bit faster? My grandkids are graduating. But together, some of you are laughing because you know who you are. And it's so awesome because now we have this facility that all of you are asking for that can host the section, the conference, True Team, and all of the state meets that we want to host right here in at Brainerd Public Schools. I must say, the asks were extensive, but Michael Phelps once said, I wouldn't say anything is impossible. I think that everything is possible as long as you put your mind to it and you put the work and the time into it. That's exactly what's been done here over the course of the past 4 years. Our community's passion, commitment, significant investment into our children, into our future. It continues to amaze and to inspire me at Brainerd. Our community has done just what Michael said. Put your mind, your work, your time, and your resources in a special project, and together we make it happen. And that's what we had in this project, the right team at the right time. I also want to thank the many contractors who made this a reality. This has just been a really awesome project. But I remember Scott Whittemore, the project manager from ICS, when he said, I have had 2 of the most difficult projects that I've ever accomplished right here in Brainerd. He said the first one was making the Gitche Zebes Center for the Arts a reality. And he said the second challenge was putting this huge, beautiful swimming pool right in the middle of two pieces or 2 existing buildings in the district. And look at what he and the team of ICS and all the contractors made happen. Again, another quote from Michael Phelps, he said, don't put a limit on anything. The more you dream, the more you get. And so it is. This major milestone was only achieved through incredible teamwork, belief, and grit. It is from my sincere heart that I say, thank you. It definitely shows what it means to be a warrior. A warrior is someone who never gives up, even when the going gets tough, and I thank you all. As your superintendent, I have a distinct honor today, and that is that I get to be part of the unveiling of the bronze plaque that will be a historic artifact and will be dedicated to the foyer of Brainerd High School Aquatic Center and our athletic complex. At this time, I would like our coaches, John Zemke and Dan Anderson, to please come forward and to unveil the plaque for us today. This commemoration will forever mark this prestigious project, and it will mark today's official dedication, in May of 2022 in Brainerd Public Schools history. On the plaque, we recognize many important people, and I too would like to recognize several people for making this a reality. Again, I want to recognize the incredible Board of Education who puts the best interests of our children first every day. Ruth Nelson, our chair, Charles Blacklance, our vice chair, Janice Shogren, our clerk, Kevin Boyles, treasurer, Sarah Spear, and Tom Hagelin, our directors. Please give them a round of applause. It is also an honor to acknowledge the past board members who were significant in making this a reality. And in our audience tonight, I see Sue Kern, who was instrumental in making this happen. Please recognize her and Bob Nystrom, Reed Campbell, and Chris Robinson. Please stand. As I said, it takes the right team at the right time. I think my leadership team is so tired of hearing that slogan, but I firmly believe it. And at the district administrative level, I know that we had the right team at the right time to take us through this entire project and some of the challenges that we've been faced with most recently. When I call your name, will you please stand? Assistant Superintendent Heidi Hahn, and your next Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Heidi Hahn. Brainerd High School, Andrea Russ, Principal, go ahead and stand. Assistant Principals Nate Merseth, Craig Cottsmith, and Josh Fordyce. Our Warrior Activities Director, Jack Freeman, Charlie Campbell in the audience, and I saw Derek Hendrickson as well in the audience. Please give them a round of applause. Our Building and Grounds Director, Reed TC, doesn't give himself nearly enough credit for the work he does. He and Jeff Flayton have led this project just beautifully, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for every minute that you put in. Well done. Our Director of Business Services, Marcy Lord, you keep us right on track. And we always hate it when she tells us no, but we know when she says no, she means no, and there's a good reason for it. So we love her for that. Our communications team, Anne-Marie Locker and Carla Axelson, awesome partners in this process, so thank you. Carla's over here. On this and all of our Blueprint 181 projects, we've been honored to work along the best in the business. This is Teacher Appreciation Week, and as one of my favorite quotes from Hal Bowman says, in the very best schools, everyone is a teacher. Regardless of your role, everyone has a purpose, and that is to teach our children to change their lives forever. We are all teachers, and so congratulations and thank you to our awesome coaches, faculty, and staff at ISD 181. We've talked a lot about our incredible design team, but I won't go through all the names, but I so want to thank ICS for helping to lead this charge. Dave, Damien, Mark, all of you guys, it's just been phenomenal to work with you. To Woodseth, thank you for designing this phenomenal building and making it a reality. It's beautiful and it's an incredible project. To US Aquatic, CMTA, and High Tech Construction, and many, many more. You have a special place in my heart. And finally, to the members of our community, and to those on the Vote Yes committee, and to those who voted yes, this is our project. We are a warrior team. We are one school district, all of us working on behalf of our beautiful children. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. So now, it's okay. So now, without further delay, let's cut this ribbon. The final step in this official Brainerd High School Aquatic Center dedication ceremony is to cut the ribbon. And I'm going to ask Thomas Rule and Grace Hagelin if they will be in the center and actually do the cutting. And then I'd like the present school board and all of the people on the stage to take a piece of the ribbon while they cut and dedicate this ceremony. With the cutting of the ribbon, the ceremony is over. There will be a few final words from our principal, Russ, but thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you've done. You're wonderful. Heidi, do you want to take one in?
Yep.
Okay, so you guys will go, yep. And it's a nice big one, so you right here, so you guys can take it and do it however you want to. Just don't put anything there. And now everybody will go around.
On behalf of Brainerd High School, I do want to thank everyone again for being here for this celebration. In addition to the people that we thank today, I would like to say a special thanks to our media team here. We have our Mr. Dwyer from our TV productions. We have Kelly and Teresa from the Dispatch. We have Lakeland News, and I just wanted, and the communications team. So if you can join me in thanking all of our media that cover these great events. Swimmers, if you could get ready for our jump in, our symbolic jump in. We did this a couple weeks ago for the first jump in to make sure our swimmers were part of it. But I can tell students what to do and where to go, but I'm going to ask Coach Anderson and Coach Zemke to give the instructions, and they can lead their swimmers into the symbolic splash in this very special ceremony. Coach Zemke, Coach Anderson.
Yeah. Oh, no. We should have had us jumping in for good bad days, like sports and stuff. So. Yeah.
Get the deep end.
Is there anyone up in the stands that was going to come down and jump in? I decided to pass. It was very tempting, though. Willie, were you going to jump in, Willie? No? Okay. All right. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. Now you're going to jump in on 3, not before, all right? 1, 2, 3.
This concludes our ceremony, but we do invite all of our guests to stay after the ceremony and come down the stairs and join us on the pool deck. We'd like to show you the various facilities that are part of our aquatic center, and we have some guests that haven't seen our beautiful locker room and our office space. So please come on down, and thank you all for being here. Have a good night.